welcome to Jacob Trust. I'm Andrew Palmer. I'm Customer Success Manager here at Atarim. And this is basically how to accelerate your web projects, as the title says. And one of the things that we want to talk about is, through this is your role, Jacob, as CTO of Grade, and how you manage projects, how Grade was an agency, is still part an agency, and now has this fantastic project, or product rather, which helps people get into the enterprise space, or if you're thinking about going into the enterprise space, it's kind of a real tool set to help you, along with using Atarim for communication as well. So I'm going to start my presentation, if I may, Jacob, and I'll come back to you. How's that? Okay, good, cool. So thanks for watching and thanks for joining us. Now, really what we're trying to do here is help web developers, web agencies, teams communicate better with their customers across any platform that they're using, but in particular this lovely example of Grade, where it's a massive project that they were involved in, was basically helping us to really understand how Atarim helps a larger team. So in the next 60 minutes, we're going to help you build and deliver website projects to clients faster than you've ever done before, just as it says on the screen. Now, who am I? Who the heck am I? So I built my first website in 1998, and I've built somewhere around 2,000 of them. I've exited 5 online web-related businesses, all plugins and a marketplace where I sold plugins and themes for other people as well. And I also had an agency for about 25 years, but before that I had print and other related stuff. Creative agency, went into print, from print transitioned into web. So I've had small websites to do, big websites to do, and I've had some communication issues with clients over the years, but since 2019, or just a little bit more than that, 2020, I've been using Atarim, and now I'm Customer Success Manager for teams at Atarim. Jacob is a Bachelor of Interface Design. He can go into what he's all about. He's the CTO of Grade, this fantastic system for building out websites. So let's get into this. How long does it take you to build a basic website without a client? We ask this question quite often at Atarim, and we know that without clients in the way, we can kind of get that job done in pretty much a day, five-page website, 10-page website, whatever, because we know where we're going with it. We know we've got the copy, we've had the meeting with the client, and we've got on with it. But as soon as a client gets involved, how long does it take you to deliver the same website with a client? That's, we've all been left with the situation where the client has just ghosted us, not answering the emails, saying, yes, I'll get back to you. They've got to go back to a team member, all that kind of stuff. Because we can build it really quickly on our own, it's because we don't have to wait for the content, but waiting for content is really the dearth of building out a website. So why does a 3 to 5 day build become a 4 to 6 week project? Well, this is the key here. You've scoped it out, you've had your discovery meeting, you've had the initial communication with the client, and then you haven't got a valid way of communicating with it. It's WhatsApp, it's text, it's all sorts of things. It's emails, it's Word documents, it's Google Docs, it's whatever it may be. So that leads to delays, client side and obviously production side as well. So why do we want to promote the fact that we can use a collaboration tool like Atarim along with a system like Grade? It's because it basically takes down a 5 to 6 week project to 3 to 4 weeks, or maybe even 2 weeks, and that's the issue with that. So the build doesn't take that long. It's getting the information. That's the whole key of having a good collaboration situation here. And why does it matter? Well, it matters because a project loses momentum when you haven't got that client collaboration with you, when you haven't got that client communication, when they're sending emails that are about the home page, the about page, the services page, the location pages, etc., etc. And when you're looking across multi-site locations like franchises, that's an even bigger problem, because you may be having to communicate with up to 30, 40, 100 people to get their true details. And without momentum, the project stalls, it gets in the way, you get project bottlenecks, and it hits your profitability and productivity straight away. So we need to make sure that that's why it matters. If you produce a project quicker or faster, that means that you can get onto the next project. And if you produce it quicker and faster, it means that you can do more projects, because that's the way life goes. You finish one project, that opens up the doors for more. Now, also the other benefit to that, doing jobs quicker, is basically your client says, wow, I used to deal with developers or production houses that used to take months to do this sort of thing. And when they're in conversations with their peers, their fellow people that they're dealing with, they're saying this particular company are really good. Their collaboration was great. Their communication was great. And it opens up this flywheel of referral. And that's the way that we want to do. So what I want you to do is stick around, learn how to increase your productivity and your profitability with Grade and Atarim. And now I'm going to lay it over to Jacob.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew.
That was a nice quick presentation. Over to you. You can take the stage, and I'll let you introduce yourself to the crowd out there. We've got some people from Croatia already. We've got Anna Mika Bovelat. I don't know whether you've heard of that lady. She's quite well known in the WordPress space. We're a very good friend of ours. And I got a few people from Atarim as well. We got Sajil from Bangladesh and a few other people. Don't forget to list your websites in here, people, as well, and just share it around. We've got Zach Vito Peleg. This Andrew guy seems to know a few things. I'll keep him around. Okay, that's fair enough. All right, well, we'll go on to you, Jacob, and I'll leave you to it, and I'll come back to you if you've got any problems. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. Thanks for introducing this topic so nicely. So first of all, I'm Jacob. I'm CTO at Grade, and we have focused the last couple of years on building a product that helps our clients to build website projects, large, really huge website projects, really efficiently. And we actually already integrated Atarim in a lot of our customer cases already and helped our customers accelerate their web projects. And I'm going to share a couple of examples today. And yeah, I'm gonna share my screen and and explain you a little bit of how to actually accelerate your enterprise web projects. So what I'm not gonna do today is bore you with too many keynote slides. I'm gonna jump in and actually do something live in a website. But first off, I want to quickly explain what this is all about. So first off, how to accelerate your website projects. So for enterprise-like projects, for large, scalable projects, you need four things. You need a scalable hoster. You need to build your websites efficiently. You need to take care of customer communication. And you need to automate and centralize maintenance tasks. And today, in this presentation, we're going to take a look at the middle two. So we're going to take a look at how to build websites efficiently and also how to handle customer communication. As you can imagine, there's one part that is mostly done in Grade and one part that is mostly done in Atarim. So how to accelerate? What we will cover is how to actually build like a global library of assets. Why is that important, you might ask? First of all, if you have a global library of all your assets, each and everything that you have created in previous projects, you can reuse that assets and reuse and iterate while you're going, and you don't have to build from scratch. So it speeds up the creation. You are less dependent from developers, and as you can build the library yourself, you have always full control over them. Also, you can implement changes across all sites. So it's not only like a preset library where you can implement a new page and build a page really fast, but what if you need to change something on a page? If you need to change a thing on one page, that might not be an issue. Even 3 pages might not be an issue. But what if your team of people creating websites have used these presets hundreds of times of hundreds of different websites? Then yeah, now how do you tackle that issue? How can you now change something on that specific preset without going into each and every page again and changing it there manually? And therefore, we manage all our websites from a single place. And that's what this global library approach helps our clients to do. So everything I'm going to show you today and I'm going to present you today is actually based on a real use case. So it's actually a real use case. I've presented this use case specifically at Atarim's Web Summit. Sorry for the grammar mistake here, at Atarim's Web Summit. And I want to explain a little bit about how this use case, what this use case did for a client. This was a large case. We have like hundreds of websites. We had just a single marketing team that had to take care of these hundreds of websites without scalable structures. They didn't have developers, or they didn't have any efficient coordination. So before we started the project, we actually talked to the customer a lot, and they actually internally sent Excel lists around using email. Then another one wrote via WhatsApp or Slack, and it was really inefficient, and it was not clear where and what to change at what time and where to change it. And now the team is really small and had to take care of hundreds of websites without them being like deprecated after a couple of years. You still have to kind of maintain and take care of the data being present on the sites. For example, some legal data has to be changed globally. Also, the corporate guidelines are evolving over the years. So you have to kind of make sure that all the websites stay intact and stay according to your requirements. We built this using Great, and we built this all sites in one central backend. So we have like 150 single and multi-sites connected. We connected them using the site connector based on the WordPress authentication API. We had a global template library, as I will describe a little bit to you how this works. And this was shared across all sites. So each and every site has access to this global template library. And we have all the central content management across the entire network of sites. So a network is not necessarily a single multi-site. A network in this case can be a multi-site or just several websites based on WordPress. It doesn't really matter if they're single or multi-sites. Then we realized we needed to help them with coordination and communication heavily, and that's where Atarim stepped in. So it was always a hassle on what screen they tested, on what version they tested, what was the state when they had this requirements adjustment, or when they noticed a mistake or an issue on site. So in terms for internal and external reviews of sites, instead of having like, okay, the site is now done, please review it, and then send over a Word document via mail, you can just directly comment on the live website, and therefore whoever builds the page, the designer, the developer, whoever is involved there, can then take a look, okay, what exactly did they see? What exactly is the issue? We had way less back and forth and faster approval, and this just speeds up the time to go live significantly. And all of the current sites and topics, you can get an overview of all of those topics, how they're ongoing and what is in review, what is actually to do right now. And we actually implemented this for the client and we helped them implement it, you could rather say. And therefore, with a small marketing team of like 4 full-time employees, they were able to build 240 pages in just 6 weeks. And this includes content generation. This includes all the images, all the copy, all the text, actually building the layouts of the sites. And the team, the marketing team here, was not really that much experience. Obviously, they knew their way around WordPress. They knew where to create a post, where to create a page, but they weren't really necessarily WordPress experts or WordPress professionals, what we would call them. Bilingual setup was included, and yeah, no WordPress expertise was required. Obviously, they had to be onboarded a little bit to like get the hang of it, how it actually worked. But apart from it, they were able to build their pages themselves, and we just helped them set it up right one time, and from there on, they tackle this to this day on their own. And now we're going to take a look at 3 examples that I've brought to you today. The first one is, what if I have some design adjustments? So, for example, I create a new site or a new page based on a pattern, so based on a preset that I've defined in the past, that is one of my corporate guideline presets. And now I send it over to my client, and he or she reviews it using Atarim, and then tells me about something that might need adjustment, and I can adjust it on a global template. And the benefit of this is that it's automatically adjusted wherever this preset is used. So let's do this live right now. So I'm going to move my window over here. So first off, you can see we're starting in the Great Hub. So obviously, this is not the real environment of the client. This is some stripped down demo that I've prepared for today, but it's actually using a lot of the templates and preset that the client has actually defined. And we're going to take a look at this website specifically. So in the Grade Hub, just to mention this quickly, you can see an overview of multiple websites in one single instance. It can be on one multi-site, different multi-sites as well. We don't want to go into detail there that much, but for now, we're going to focus on this site. So I have a couple of pages built here. You can see a little overview of the style guide. So imagine this being like a library where you build all your contents, all your assets, whether this be templates, whether this be content structures like post types, or just pages, posts, or footer or header. And we're going to take a look at this page. So this is a page, and this is actually built using a preset that the customer defined themselves. So this is still in progress. So imagine your client, or you're helping your client actually building this live, and you can see there's some content in here, some image. Doesn't look too well, but that's exactly what we're going to review right now. But you can also already see, okay, there's some anchor linking in here. You have some content. There's some images missing. These accordions are not filled. So a couple of things are already there, but you can see like the design is already kind of laid out and shaped out quite nicely. And now we want to review this. Actually, let's start by creating a new page using the same pattern pretty much. So I'm going to click on new page, and there is this default dialog of the WordPress blog editor showing up, and a lot of those are just default presets using our theme exactly. But I've built this using a child theme. So let's actually quickly take a look at the themes. So this is a child theme in this case, great child theme. It's just a default. I quickly installed it, and I made some adjustments. And I made adjustments simply in WordPress. I did not go into code. And what I did, I essentially created this pattern. And this pattern does now show up as a page pattern. So now I can go ahead. Obviously, I can select one of these patterns suggested from the theme, but I can also select one of my customized patterns. And in this real use case, the client actually had several of those custom patterns, and we deactivated all the default ones. So the client only saw the page preset specifically designed for them. And now I will insert this. So I can just click, and there we go. I already have my site laid out pretty nicely in here, and you can see all the things happening in here. There's some complex triggers and conditions working in here. It's all set up pretty nicely. And I can now go ahead and call this webinar test, for example. And I can now go ahead and adjust this template. I can now fill in this headline and this subline. And what I cannot do, I cannot really screw up the design. So right now, I don't have the option to actually change anything design related. I cannot get rid of this. I cannot mess up the sizing. I cannot mess up the layout of this headline. I can simply adjust its content. And same goes for this paragraph, same goes for this image. Again, I cannot really mess up the image. I can just replace it. So let's actually replace it with some content from my library. And let's select this laptop in here again. All right, contact us. Let's just do that. And that's good for now. I quickly want to take a look at how this is built. So this is built using dynamic templates. So dynamic templates are just wireframed assets. They are connected to a single instance, and therefore you cannot mess up the content of it, but you can override whatever needs to go in there. And this is valid for pretty much everything in here. Like everything in here is using dynamic templates in order for the author or editor of this page not being able to really mess up the design. So they're always using the templates. And then those templates are globally synced across my entire network of sites. We will gonna take a look how this actually works in just a second. So I've adjusted a couple of things, and I've created my page, and I want to now publish it. So now let's take a look. And now I want to review this using Atarim. So let's head over to Atarim, and let's head over to this project. So specifically for this website, I added a project in my Atarim page. And first of all, we need to not adjust anything on this home page. We need to adjust something on the test page. So let's open up the webinar test page. And the first thing I'm noticing, and you have probably noticed that as well, is this image does not really fit into this image in this template in here. So it's actually set to cover the entire image and not contain. So I want to make sure that somebody adjusts this. So I want to click a comment. This image needs to be set to cover. Or if I'm more of like the client, I can more say the image needs to be visible entirely, for example. So I will add this comment now, and a screenshot is generated in Atarim, as you probably know. And now if I'm, obviously this is only me right now interacting with the site, but I can now go back to Atarim, and I can now go to my project and see in my board that a new task has been created. So this image needs to be visible entirely. I can now take a look at what screenshot this exactly is and how this looks like. Okay, this image is meant in here. Okay, now I can go ahead, move this probably to in progress, and I can go ahead and adjust it. So I will go into my page and I will click into the image. I'm realizing, okay, I cannot really do anything in here. So I'm focusing the template and I'm actually clicking on add a template. And there we go. That's the wireframe template. And you can already see this is a global source post. And in this case, it's distributed to just one more site, which we're going to take a look in a second. Or actually, we're going to take a look after we change it. So we have this hero banner overlapping image. We have all the assets building in here. And here I can adjust everything. I can adjust the content. I can adjust whatever design changes I might want to do. And in this case, let's focus on the image and actually not make it cover, but make it contain. And now I will save this. So what is not surprising is, first of all, this will be directly changed in here, and now it should look fine. But I also use this exact same template on a separate site. So in here, this is the same template in here, and it's using the same image. And in just a couple of seconds, probably you're not going to see a lot in here. I'm going to take a look at how this is actually done in the backend. But this is going to be adjusted as well. So we're going to take a look at what is actually in queue right now, because this needs to be scalable, obviously. And now this hero banner template is scheduled for actually being adjusted on my other site. So we're going to be right back in just a couple of seconds. But this image is now automatically adjusted wherever it is used. So I reuse the template. I reuse this preset with all the templates included on this website, which is a different URL, a different site entirely. It has a different global design. You can see these buttons are red. It has different contents in here. And I didn't have to worry about whether I can screw up the design. And now somebody adjusts this image for me, and it's automatically adjusted. This issue is fixed on all sites, on all references of this template, whether this is on the same site or on different versions of this site. So I can actually go back to Atarim and let my client know pending review, and then leave a comment. I'm not going to do this right now because I'm my own client right now. But I think you understand how this actually can be used to help boosting your process. You don't have to log into several sites, and you don't have to take care of this on several different instances. You can just automatically adjust it, and it's adjusted wherever it is used. So next up, we're gonna take a look at a second example where we want to highlight a new topic. So you're gonna see in a couple of seconds that we have some topics, some articles included on the bottom of each page based on a topic that is assigned to that page. I'm gonna show you how this actually looks, but we wanna assign a new topic to a page without the need of having any complex query adjustments. We don't wanna go into query loops, because as soon as my customer, my client is going into query loops, I'm screwed. So we want to do this just by checking a box, essentially. And we're going to take a look at how to do this, actually. So first of all, let's go to Atarim again. And let's open up my set. So first I need to browse, and we're going to go to industries we empower. So on the bottom of the page, if I scroll down here, and this is actually part of the footer, you're going to see this section with topics. And this is actually referring to a post that is created there. So it's just simply a query loop. And yeah, this has 5 signs. Your sales tag is holding you back. But as the client, I have recently just created a new article, and I want to make sure that this shows up on this page as well. So I'm gonna let myself know, essentially, there was a new article Okay, so I let my client know, or let my marketing team know there's another article and it needs to be showing up. I can now ask questions. What article was this exactly? We're not gonna do this right now, but you can now communicate with the client directly. Okay, what article do you mean? But we're gonna take a look at how this has actually been achieved. So let's just close up the site. Now, before we take a look, we're just gonna refresh the site. You can see now this image is automatically adjusted and it's not cover. It's not content. Cover. It's contained right now. So just to verify that we actually did the change, you can now see in the queue page that it's actually been completed and it's been updated wherever we need it. This is obviously background processing, because if you have 150 sites, or some of our clients have thousands of sites, you want to make sure this happens and you have a lock over it. So let's go back to the actual site. So we're going to take a look at how these topics actually appear in here. So we're scrolling down, and these topics are based on, these articles are based on topics. So let's take a look at the pages and simultaneously at the post. So for posts and pages, I created a taxonomy I called topics. Topics can be really easy to understand. In general, can be several topics included in here. I created a bunch of these. Cybersecurity, data integration, digital transformation, and that's exactly what the client did. They had several hundreds of topics that actually they created posts for, they had partners for, they had news for, they had pages. A lot of different contents were related to different topics. And they wanted to use this to actually then link it or automatically show the topics related to the articles related to a specific topic on their pages. So for example, my page, Industries We Empower, which we have just watched in Atarim, has the topics digital transformation and healthcare. So this was the post that actually appeared in the front end. Why? Because it also had digital transformation as a topic. So if the post and the page have the same topic in this example, then it automatically pops up on my page. And the customer created this new one. Why data integration is the backbone of digital growth? Well, he forgot to assign a topic. And therefore, I want to make sure that this has a topic that actually shows up on Industries We Empower. After a couple of communication calls, or maybe the client can just do that themselves, for example, by, we're going to do it the old school way, or the little bit harder way. They're going to go into the post. You can see there's not much here. And in topics, you can just simply select what you want. For example, data integration can be a part of digital transformation. And I'm going to save this. And after I save this, go back, you can see this now appears here. And then if we go to the page, or actually just reload it, you're going to see that it automatically shows up in my topics, because this is linked essentially to this topic. And if I want to make a page, if I create a new page, for example, like we just did, let's take a look at our webinar test, and let's maybe address it with assign it with some topics. I'm going to update it, and now we're going to take a look. And now automatically, articles of these topics that this page is assigned to will automatically show up in the footer as well. And this is handled in the footer, and I can globally synchronize its setting across several sites, because now the same logic is valid on my demo site as well, because I made all this post type logic, all this taxonomy logic globally available, and I sync this logic with there as well. So I'm having this accelerate marketing and sales with smart attack, and I have entirely different topics in here that automatically show up in here as well, because I have posts that are assigned to topics, and the same logic goes for the pages assigned to topics, and they even can have different topics because they're different sites and have different articles. In this case, the articles are not synced, but I can also, for example, sync out the article as well. So that was my second example. Let's go on to the third one. The third one is, now I want to create something actually new. So I want to create a new pop-up. I'm the client. I don't know how to do that. I want you to help me. I want myself, Jacob, to help me. So I'm going to define the requirements using Atarim. And I'm going to create a pop-up that will instantly be deployed on all my sites. That's what I want as a client. And then I want to make some adjustments to this pop-up from one single source. Let's take a look at how to do this. So first of all, I'm going to close a lot of these pages that I do not need. So let's close this communication in here. And now it doesn't really matter where. I could use Atarim for it, but we are heavily for like having everything in Atarim and having just a streamlined form of communication inside Atarim. So what I could do, I could comment live on my site, but I can also go right into my board and just create simply a new task. But right now, I'm simply gonna create a task on like the top level of this site. No, I'm gonna comment, yep. And I wanna click there. I want to have a new pop-up. And what do I want? I want this headline. I have prepared a couple of things. Let's just insert it. Here is the content. Below, I want this to show after 50% scrolled on the page and for all my sites. We're going to take a look at how to do this right now. So I left this comment here. And now me as Jacob needs to implement a new pop-up on all of my sites. So again, we're going to take a look at how to do this. So first off, I'm going to go to Popups. And I'm actually going to create a new pop-up. Let's use this little slide in. Yeah, let's keep it like slide in. And I want to edit the pop-up. So here you can see that my pop-up has been created. It's just a little preset. I can adjust this now. I want this to be right aligned. And now I want to insert my content first. Let's just insert my headline, my text, and the CTA. Let's just get this right in there as well. Yeah, I think I have all my like white spaces at the first line. Yeah. Let's get rid of this. Let's adjust the height here a little bit. This looks all right. Maybe just customize the design a little bit, make the background color a little bit more like this. Yeah, that's all right. Maybe make, yeah, that's all right for now. Make the layout, check. Yeah, give it a bit of a spacing. So that's fine for now. So I've created a pop-up. Maybe I wanna, do I want an overlay? No, I don't want an overlay, no. Okay, and now I want to create the logic behind it. So if I create a pop-up, it shows up maybe on one single page or on the entire site. First of all, on scroll is preset in here. So I have on scroll in this preset. I have on scroll on 50%. I can create an exit intent pop-up. I want to just to show it up pretty much everywhere on normal pages, system pages, post pages. I can set a couple of rules as well. I can adjust that the pop-up is only shown once, but for the sake of this, I want to quickly just publish this. So now I created the pop-up and it's live. Let's just double check. And it automatically has become a root post. More on that later. So first of all, I want to check if this actually looks fine. So it doesn't really matter. We're going to go to the industries one. Yeah, and I scrolled 50% of my page, and now I'm here seeing my pop-up. Actually pre-focused the closing button. Really good for accessibility. And yeah, okay. And now I can let my client actually know. So I'm going to reload this. And let's actually go there. And yeah, I can now leave a comment in here, for example. What do you think? Or I can just open a new task or reply on the old task. But I'm just gonna do this in Atarim right now. So as soon as I have this now in Atarim, I have all my tasks that I've been assigned in my Atarim board. Let's just quickly take a look, and then I can handle the client communication there. Obviously, I don't want to give you a demo of that, but you can now see that my actual, there's some issue, but all right. But all my tasks are assigned here. I can see how it actually looks, what my definitions have been. And now the great thing is what I quickly want to show you guys. Let's take a look at this. Has been deployed already. Yeah, the slide and pop-up has been deployed. So if I'm not only going to be on that side, but now I want to go to that side as well. And I'm going to scroll down 50% of the page. Did it already go live? Let's just take a look. Yeah. So I can show you how this has been done in the backend. So then a slide in is scheduled. Let's just take a look at how this has been deployed here. Oh yeah, there we go. It's actually already there. Don't know why it hasn't triggered. And I can show you quickly right after this how it has been built. So if I scroll here, oh, I know, because I didn't really set it to be on the homepage, I guess. Is it? Doesn't show up right now. Okay, I don't know what the exact issue is in here, but I can see the slide in pop-up now. I cannot really adjust it here. But yeah, I have on normal pages show it up on scroll, 50%. This actually looks quite fine. Queue has been delivered. My trigger is not triggering right now. But how did this work? How is it instantly being deployed to other sites? So in this case, to automatically deploy pop-ups to other sites, what I've created therefore is a cluster. And I specifically called this cluster Popups. And what it did is I selected the sites, the destinations of the sites, and I said, okay, all my pop-ups that are created from one site will automatically be global and will be sent to my destinations. And therefore, as soon as I created a pop-up, which I did just a couple of seconds ago, then it automatically will be rolled out to all my sites and will be there as well. And then the same goes for, depending on your setup, obviously, if I trash this pop-up, if I update the pop-up, it will automatically be updated on the instances on the other sites. So yeah, this is my third example of how to create a pop-up and how to make adjustments from one source. Actually, we haven't made any adjustments, so maybe let's do this once more. Let's go to my actual pop-up. Yeah, this is my slide in pop-up. And let's have it maybe on page load after 5 seconds and have it early on scroll and let it show up on all my sites. Maybe set a hashtag, maybe even set up a rule. No, I don't want to set up a rule, but maybe I want to get rid of this spacer. I want to make this an H3, for example, and maybe no, I don't want to get rid of my closing button, but maybe just make my design, make it white space, for example, white, for example. And I want to now save this, and no surprise, it will be updated here. What did I do? 30%. Yeah, right. Let's talk about your next IT breakthrough. And let's take a look at the queue. This has been scheduled and has already been set up. Let's just quickly take a look here. Yeah, it's automatically updated. The only issue that I'm seeing is last time it didn't show up. Let's take a look if it shows up this time. Yeah. So I don't know why it didn't trigger before. Probably something with my setup. But you can see now this is automatically updated. It's now white in the background. It has this focus button. We got rid of the spacer. And it's also automatically adjusting to the design of this site. As you can see, this button is here red, but in here this button is blue, and so on and so forth. So it automatically adjusts to my style sheet. So it's only pretty much referring to the global style sheet. All right, let's wrap things up. So what the client and what we learned together as we've created this system, or we created a couple of projects with merging or using Atarim for client communication and using a global library with a lot of assets that are automatically synchronized across hundreds of sites. What did we learn? What did the client learn? We had a scalable system. We had not just simply a website. So we had a unified architecture for 150 plus sites. We had centralized templates, automated workflows. We used dynamic contents. So we split up contents and design resources. So the design team can work on the presets, for example, that we had in the first example. But simultaneously, the author can still work on the content, fill the images, write all the copy texts. But the design team can then still make adjustments. It will automatically be delivered to all the 100 plus sites. And we empowered non-technical teams to manage everything independently. So there was no need for a dev or developer. Obviously, somebody had to set up the admin structure, but that's where we helped the client as well a little bit. But from then on, the marketing team was empowered to just create pages based on their presets and make design adjustments on their own. And we designed it for flexibility, control, and speed. And what made it work was full site editing as a technical foundation because this is the default. The beautiful thing is, and the two examples you've seen, we have different global style, but also we also have different themes actually making it work. You can use different child themes, you can use different block-based, full site editing-based themes. We don't really care as long as it is whatever you need and is according to your requirements. And full site editing as a default with the block editor makes things works and is automatically compatible to the other block-based solutions. We use Great Suite them for templates, for sync, for automation, so for all the dynamic content parts and all the automation process behind it inside WordPress. And then we used Atarim for visual collaboration, so we skipped all the emails and Excel sheets and Word files and so on, and we just had one single tool where all the tasks were in one single overview in one single board. And performance and accessibility was already built in. You actually saw an example of this in the pop-up where the closing button was auto-focused once it popped up, because that is really important. So even a blind person, for example, can understand what is happening, what is going on. So what are the takeaways? If you want to build scalable websites and you want to accelerate your projects and you want to take bigger, more enterprise-like projects, you don't just simply build a website after a website after website. You should build systems. Systems to automate what repeats, reuse everything you built before, include it in a global library, and reuse that asset with different contents, with different designs based on the requirements for the client, but actually don't build it from scratch. Just reuse it and stay in full control of it as well. And therefore, you give your teams control of what to adjust with guardrails. You can take care of all the global assets from the library perspective, but you can hand them out to teams, to marketing teams, and they can adjust simple details. They can fill all the content in there, and they are in control of the page building, of page creation process, but you're in control of the system processes. That's how you can frame it. Design from scale from day one. So instead of having everything, just you build a page and you include all the blocks statically, think dynamically. Like the second example that we had with articles that are dynamically, automatically included in the footer section of a page. We built this using a taxonomy. And with that taxonomy, it was easy for the client to have all their partners, all the logos from their partners, other news, automatically showing up wherever they need it. So automatically showing up on different pages, different sites, without the need for actually adjusting the query loop, essentially. It was just automatically included based on a taxonomy. So we aligned the people and the tools around and created clear workflows to actually accelerate their process of creating and building websites. Yep. And I hope you found out something new. Maybe you learned one or two things. Maybe you agree. Maybe you disagree in one or two things that I've mentioned. And yeah, the client was really, really happy with the entire process. And to this day, can still manage all their resources from one single instance, but also enabling less experienced users to actually create contents, to actually leave feedback, and yeah, let somebody know if anything goes wrong in their opinion. And that really helped to build this project in just a couple of weeks with 150 websites and 240 pages on one single site as well. So yeah, thank you very much